In Stephen Curry's 7th year in the NBA, he accomplished a feat no other player in NBA history had accomplished. He won the Most Valuable Player award by unanimous vote. Since the 1980-81 season, the NBA has selected media members, each of whom are given power to vote for that year's MVP award. Voters submit their selection of their top 5 candidates for the award, placing them in order from 1 to 5, each position having corresponding points. A first place vote is worth 10 points, a second place vote is worth 7 points, a third place vote is worth 5 points, a fourth place vote is worth 3 points, and a fifth place vote is worth 1 point. The MVP award is then given to the player with the highest point total. In over 4 decades, Stephen Curry is the only MVP in league history to receive every single first place vote. But just how good was Steph Curry that year? And does he really deserve to be the lone unanimous MVP winner in NBA history? Let's go back. Stephen Curry entered that season as the defending MVP and a defending NBA champion. The previous season, 2014-15, was impressive in its own right and catapulted Curry to superstar status. But the 15-16 season was a large improvement for Steph and the Warriors. He averaged a league-high 30.1 points per game. Steph became the first player in NBA history to average 30 or more points while playing less than 35 minutes per game. That season is also the only season in NBA history where a player averaged over 30 points and was a member of the 50-40-90 club. In league history, for players who played at least 65 games in a season, there have been 11 instances that a player qualified for the 50-40-90 club. To qualify, a player must shoot at least 50% from the field, 40% from the three-point line, and 90% from the free throw stripe. Of the 11 seasons, Steph's 2015-16 season is convincingly the most impressive version of accomplishing 50-40-90. While the club features all-time great three-point shooters like Reggie Miller, Dirk Nowitzki, Steve Nash, Larry Bird, and Kevin Durant, Stephen Curry's three-point attempt number more than doubles any of the other players. That year, he shot 886 three-pointers, making 402 of them, making for a three-point percentage of 45%. The second most attempts in the 50-40-90 club was Steve Nash, who shot just 381 threes in the 07-08 season. Yes, in the 2016 season, Stephen Curry made more three-pointers than anyone in the 50-40-90 club has even attempted. Maintaining at least 40% while taking 505 more threes than anyone else in the club is nothing short of absurdity. And as a part of that gargantuan three-point attempt number, Stephen Curry revolutionized the pull-up or off-the-dribble three-pointer. While he also attempted by far the most pull-up threes that year, he also led the league in pull-up three-point percentage, shooting a comical 43.8%, over 6 percentage points higher than anyone else. The 2015-2016 regular season was clearly historic for Stephen Curry. It included 3 50-point games, 10 40-point games. He set the record for three-pointers made in a season, led the league in steals and free throw percentage. Oh, and not to mention, Curry led the Golden State Warriors to the most regular season wins in NBA history. Of course, even with those 73 wins, Steph and the Warriors fell short in the finals that year. But the MVP is a regular season award, and Steph was clearly the best player on the best regular season team in history. The question is his 2015-16 MVP the most impressive of all time? His unique offense that year might bring it into the conversation. But let's look at another season. All-time great forward Larry Bird had arguably his greatest year through the 1987-1988 season. That year, he posted his career-high 29.9 points per game while recording 6.1 assists and 9.3 rebounds. At the same time, Bird, like Curry, qualified for the 50-40-90 club. Bird entered that season 1 year removed from winning back-to-back MVPs, and went on to lead the Celtics to capture the 1 seed in the Eastern Conference. Curry's three-point attempts blow Bird's out of the water, but Bird nearly matches Curry's assists and dominates him in rebounds. While the debate is much more complicated between the two seasons, there is at least an argument that Bird's 87-88 season is competitive with Curry's unanimous MVP season. But here's the thing, as impressive as Larry Legend was that year, he finished in just second place in the MVP race. The winner? Michael Jordan. In arguably the greatest individual regular season of all time, a 24-year-old MJ posted an offensive stat line of 35 points per game, 5.9 assists per game, and 5.5 rebounds per game in just his third full season. That 35 points per game led the league that year and was accomplished on over 53% from the field. He played in all 82 games, at over 40 minutes per game. He also recorded 4 games of 50 points or more, 18 games with 40 or more points, and for number 23, offense is never the end of it. For the 1987-1988 season, Michael Jordan also won the Defensive Player of the Year award, and he won it by a landslide, recording a league-leading 3.2 steals per game and 1.6 blocks per game. As a part of his defensive campaign, that year Jordan was the first player in NBA history to record 200 steals and 100 blocks in a single season. To add to an amazing season, Jordan won the dunk contest, famously jumping from the free throw line. He also won the All-Star Game MVP after a 40-point performance, and as impressive as maybe any of his feats, that year he released one of the greatest shoes of all time.
Best play in the game is Air Jordan, Air Jordan, Air Jordan. Mike, what's up? Oh, money, why you want to do that to me?
Michael Jordan is known for his two-way dominance, but that year was particularly special. He became the first and only player in NBA history to win both the scoring title and Defensive Player of the Year award in the same season. Chicago sports historian Jack M. Silverstein put it best when he explained, "There's nothing like MJ's 1987-88 season. The combination of being the league's best player, best scorer, best dunker, and the best defender is unprecedented." So, as impressive as Michael Jordan's 1987-88 season was, how did the MVP voting go? That year, out of 80 first-place votes, Jordan received 47, making up for just 59%. While MJ had an outstanding season that year, so did second, third, and fourth place. Larry Bird finished in second place with 29.9 points per game, 9.3 rebounds, and 6.1 assists. Magic Johnson finished in third place with 19.6 points per game, 6.2 rebounds, and 11.9 assists per game, leading the best team in the league. And Charles Barkley finished in fourth place after per-game averages of 28.3 points, 11.9 rebounds, 1.3 steals, and 1.3 blocks. While Jordan was the clear winner, his competitors had MVP-like seasons of their own, enough for some media members to divide the first-place votes. For Stephen Curry, the 2015-2016 race looked a little different. He of course took all the first place votes for a total vote score of 1310. Kawhi Leonard finished in second place after receiving 54 second place votes and a total score of 634. Following a season of 21.2 points per game, 6.8 rebounds per game, 1.8 steals per game, and 1 block per game, Leonard had a great season and won the Defensive Player of the Year award. And LeBron was a close third after putting up solid numbers, but it certainly wasn't his best season, and his per-game averages for points, rebounds, and assists were all below his current career average. It seems fair to say that Curry's unanimous MVP, while remarkable and unique, lacked the type of competition for the award that other great MVP seasons faced. To be clear, Stephen Curry had a historic 2015-16 season. Part of what made that season so great for him was how much better he was than everyone else. It's also important to note that he was the best player on the winningest single-season team of all time. Certainly, Steph Curry deserved to win the MVP award unanimously that year, but maybe he shouldn't have been the first to achieve that honor. Let's quickly look at one more season. Shaquille O'Neal won the MVP award in the 1999-2000 season. Many might consider that to be the greatest year of Shaq's career. He led the league with 29.7 points on over 57% shooting. He recorded 13.6 rebounds per game, nearly 4 assists per game, and 3 blocks per game. Shaq and a young Kobe Bryant decimated the league that year, winning 67 games in the regular season and went on to win the NBA championship. Shaq finished second in the Defensive Player of the Year race, but had a strong case to have won it. That year, Shaq was simply dominant. So, how did the MVP voting go that year? In the 1999-2000 MVP award race, Shaquille O'Neal took 120 of the 121 first-place MVP votes, making for a total of 1,207 points. What makes the one first place vote that got away frustrating is that it didn't go to second place, or third place, or fourth place. No, instead it went to Allen Iverson, who had a good season, but didn't even crack the top 5 in the MVP race that year. Perhaps what makes Stephen Curry's 2015-16 season different from the other MVPs mentioned has to do with other things, like the impact it had on style of play and the value it gave three-point shooting, or the impact voters credited Curry for obtaining 73 wins. How do you think Stephen Curry's unanimous MVP year compares with other historic MVP seasons? Does that season warrant its place in history as the only unanimous MVP selection? And what's the greatest MVP season you've witnessed? Let us know in the comments, and please subscribe. And thanks for watching Sports Pantheon.